Hey guys, WhiteFox1225 here, and today we have the first episode of MMO Chat. So this is going to be a series of podcasts where I go over a bunch of different MMOs. It's going to be pretty much every MMO except Elder Scrolls Online, because I'm still doing my ESO Saturday, which is a podcast I do going over all the news for Elder Scrolls Online that week, or just Elder Scrolls in general. So this is going to be going over other MMOs, like, for example, today's episode is obviously on The Division. Next week is going to be on the Wildstar live stream of the Stalker class that's going to be this Saturday. And from then on, we're just going to be covering different MMOs that I'm really excited for, and hopefully you guys are really excited for it too. So, like I said, for the first episode, we're going to be talking about The Division, and we're going to be talking about the story, we're going to be talking about how PvP works, we're going to be talking about the skills that have been confirmed, and we're going to be talking about a rumor that's been going around that the release date has actually been delayed, which, that's quite possible, and I'll talk about that later. So first, let's just get into the story. So, I don't think a lot of people know the story of The Division. I think a lot of people have just been focusing on what the PvP is like. So I definitely want to go over that in the first episode. So the story takes place around this team of people called the Division, and their job is to stop widespread disaster scenarios. And they're basically like sleeper cells. You know, they live among us, but their sole job is just to be on the ready in case some emergency would pop up and they would need to stop it. So on November 23rd, 3 weeks before the Division takes place, a widespread virus from a terrorist attack spread across America and obviously New York, which is where the game takes place. So your job is now to maintain the damage. Your job was to try to stop the event, but you failed, and now your job is just to maintain the damage and try to stop it from completely ending civilization. So the whole point of the Division and what they've been talking about is that they want it to be in sort of a time period where it's not like the apocalypse where all hope is gone. They want the hope to still be there, and that there is an idea that the society can still recover from the damage that this virus has done. The developers have also said that they want us to think about the things we take for granted, like always having food and water around. Obviously, scavenging for food and water is going to be a big part of the gameplay. Even though you don't actually need to drink water and eat food to survive, it's really important for trading for equipment and stuff like that. So like I said, the game takes place in New York City, so now I just want to briefly go over all the locations that have been confirmed for the game. And some of these will sound familiar, some of these are just kind of generic location names, but I'm just going to go through all of them, and obviously you'll recognize some of them because they're big places in New York. So we have the Brooklyn Bridge, we have the Brooklyn War Memorial, we have Court, we have the Dumbo Ferry, we have Main Street, we have Manhattan Bridge, we have Office of Emergency Management, the police station, the Underground. We also have the Water Street and Washington Street. So those are all the confirmed locations for the Division right now. And some of those are pretty recognizable, we have the Brooklyn Bridge. So it's gonna really be cool to see how they design those places that we're really familiar with, and they're actually big places in New York, and it's gonna be cool to see them sort of all destroyed and stuff like that. So now let's talk about how the PvP works. So this is something that they released and they've talked about before, but I don't think a lot of people know about it just because they haven't came out with a trailer or anything that explains PvP. So PvP only takes place in these things called dark zones, and the dark zones are the most contaminated areas of New York. And so within the dark zones, you're going to compete for or complete special missions, and then completing those missions will give you the best loot in the game. But once you get that loot, you don't just automatically keep it and then you can just leave. You need to extract the loot. So what that means is once you have the loot you want and you actually want to get out of the dark zones and out of PvP, you have to light up a flare, and then you have 90 seconds until you get extracted. And while the 90 seconds are going on, everyone can see your location, and they'll try to kill you and take the loot that you have. So once you get your loot and you're ready for extraction, you're going to want to find a good place, and you're going to want to kind of hunker down and really defend your stuff, because the only way to get loot out of PvP and dark zones is by extraction. So this is pretty cool. I think it's going to obviously cause more PvP interactions. It's kind of cool that the whole point of PvP is to get better loot. I think it kind of works with the whole survival, it's not really the apocalypse because the game isn't really in the apocalypse, but sort of post-civilization gameplay. I think it works pretty good with that. So now let's talk about the skills. So we have the adrenaline boost, and that's gonna heal friendlies all around you. Next we have the distraction device, and you throw that and it makes these acoustic noises that attract nearby targets. So obviously that's not gonna work on people. but that will work in PvE. Next we have the group heal, and this is used to heal teammates nearby, but your teammates don't need to be like right next to you when you're using it. They can be like a little bit of a distance away. Next we have Indomitable, and this is going to protect you from crowd control, and it's going to make it so that if your health goes below 1, it's going to stop that from happening. So if you use this for the next 3 seconds after you use it, your health can't go below 1. So this is a really good thing to use if like you're about to die, or the person shooting at you has really low health. You could use this skill and it would stop you from dying, and while you have those 3 seconds you could take them down. Next we have Pulse, and it sends out a pulse 60 meters, and it highlights the targets, even if they're through walls or objects. It doesn't really matter, but it'll sort of outline them in like red, which is pretty cool. So next we have the Seeker Mine, and we saw this in the gameplay. You'll see a video of it on the screen. It's just a Seeker Mine that you put down, and it finds your target, and it can chase your target for up to 10 seconds, and it deals 15,000 to 2,000 damage. So that's pretty cool. That's something that's really cool. I was wondering when I watched the gameplay if it was a little overpowered. It looked a little overpowered, but we'll just have to obviously wait and see how everything works out. So we also have the turret. They haven't released a description for that, but obviously it's just going to be a turret that shoots your enemies. So that's pretty cool. So the last thing I want to talk about today was the tablet support for the game. So this game has tablet support, and I actually think a lot of next-gen games are having tablet support, like Battlefield has Commander Mode app. But this is really cool. This is by far, I think, the best tablet support for any game. So when you're on your tablet, you control a drone, and you control a drone in live game. It's not like you're in some sort of I don't know, single-player mode. You're actually going to be playing with other people, and the drone is going to be on their screen, and you're going to have the first-person view from your iPad or other tablet, which is really cool. I mean, it's so awesome how we're getting cross-platform play, and that's really awesome. So what you're going to be able to do from the drone is you're going to be able to issue buffs, you're going to be able to issue debuffs to your enemies, and you're going to even be able to launch missiles. So this is really awesome, and I think I'm really excited for the tablet support. This really makes me want to get an iPad, just because what they can do with these things is just really awesome. And the fact that you could play on an iPad and be in game with someone on a PC that's so awesome to me, and that's really cool. So I know I said that was the last thing I wanted to talk about, but I actually forgot that I did want to talk about the release date and a rumor that it's going to be delayed. So right now the game is slated to be released in late 2014, probably around the fall, before Christmas. But there's been a rumor going around that the game has been delayed until 2015. And I wouldn't be surprised by this, considering that Ubisoft has delayed Watch Dogs, which was supposed to be released in the fall last year, and now is being released in the spring. They also have delayed a next-gen racing game called The Crew. I haven't heard much about that, but I know it's also made by Ubisoft, and it has been delayed. So since they keep pushing back their games, I wouldn't be surprised if, because they're doing that, they haven't been able to work on The Division as much as they would want to. Even though Ubisoft Massive is working on The Division, and Ubisoft Massive isn't working on the Watch Dogs, it's still definitely going to affect the games that Ubisoft makes, all of them, even if it's not Ubisoft Massive necessarily making them. So that's definitely going to be affecting the release date, so I wouldn't be surprised if this rumor is true. Another thing that people have been saying is that maybe the PC version is pushing back The Division, and they have said that the PC version isn't going to be just some sort of port that they put on the PC that's really designed for console. They really want to make a full-fledged PC version, which is really awesome considering that at first there wasn't even going to be a PC version of The Division. So that's really cool. So I would definitely, if they need more time, I wouldn't mind it being pushed till 2015. 2015 sounds like a really long time away. But I think we've all seen with recent games like Battlefield 4, just a bunch of different games. If you push a game out too early before it's ready, it's not going to be worth it. And I know everyone wants the game, they want to get their hands on it, but it's not worth the extra couple months that you have the game if the game's not going to be as good as it could have been. So if they need more time, I definitely hope they do push it back till 2015. Again, this is just a rumor, not confirmed information at all. But from the sounds of it, it sounds pretty possible that the game was pushed back until 2015. So that's pretty much it for today, guys. That's all I'm going to talk about on The Division today. I'll, of course, be doing more videos on The Division. I've actually done already some videos on The Division on my channel. I did one on the Snowdrop engine when it was first looked at E3. I did a video on it. So if you're interested, guys, make sure you subscribe. As I said, I'll be going over the Stalker class next week in our MMO chat. And hopefully, we'll just keep this podcast alive for the next couple of weeks. So thank you guys so much. Again, this podcast isn't going to affect my ESO Saturday. That's still on for this Saturday. So yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.